Hey guys, it's Caitlin. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the confessional chair because I'm going to be spilling some serious secrets from the branding and marketing world that will help you in crafting your own strategies. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some things that no one really talks about, but something that we all base brand strategy off of and something that we all base marketing strategy off of. So I know that you guys will definitely benefit from it. These are definitely things I haven't heard anyone else speak about, so I know you'll find it helpful. I don't have a list like I usually do for you guys, but I do have a lot of good information, so if you stick around, I know you'll love it. The idea for this video came from a quote that I read, and it said that when we imagine ourselves doing something and when we actually do it, these same parts of our brain light up. Now, this has shown up in actual MRI studies, so I totally believe it. And so what this told me is that when we are doing our marketing and we are creating our brand story, if we can just get our customer to imagine themselves using our product and our product being successful for them, we practically have the sell. That's why when marketers and brand strategists say, tell your story, create a story, we're not really saying tell the story of oh, we were invented in 2017 and this is how the founder started it. No, that's a great story. But the story that we actually want you to tell is the story where your customer is the hero, the story where they have finally solved the issue that they've been trying to solve for years. So when you are doing research on your customers, one thing that I do want you to focus on is how they speak about their own issues and how they speak about themselves, because that is going to tell you how you should tell your story. So if they are using certain keywords to describe their own issues, it's important that you use those exact keywords to describe the issue that you have the solution for, because I promise you, no one knows their own problem better than the person who's going through it. And so if you can validate what they are feeling and tell them yeah, I understand what you're going through, I also have the solution for that, they're going to be more prone to buying your product. That's why when marketers and brand strategists say tell your story, we are not talking about the story where your brand was founded in this year and this is how the founder founded and this is what the founder went through to accomplish all the things that it has accomplished. Yes, that's amazing, and I think we do want to know that at some point, but you have to think of your customer. You have to think of your customer as somebody who has gone through something and now they have an issue and they've probably researched that issue, hyperfixated on it, and now they need a story where they have their issue solved. And that is where your brand story comes in, because your brand story needs to tell a story where your customer is the hero, where the customer has done everything that they could and they finally tried this one product and they saved their own lives. And of course, they're going to rep your brand in the meantime, but that's when they go and rave about you to other people. When you are crafting your brand story, I want you to focus on not only your customer, but how they speak. What keywords do they use to describe their own issues? Because those keywords are keywords that they have identified with. And so if you try to sell them a product that is not using those keywords, they're frankly not going to understand. They already have an idea of the solution that they have in mind. It's just your job to come in and say, yes, I agree with you. I totally understand that you've done your research and I'm proud of you for doing your research. And I understand these keywords that you're using. Luckily, my product matches these keywords and this is the solution that you've been looking for. Another way that you can use this is when you are crafting your brand personality. And so what's going to be important here is understanding the emotional state that your customer is coming to you in. So if your customers are generally sad when they come to you, then you need to show up as a brand that is compassionate and understanding. Now, if your customer comes to you and they're really ecstatic and they're really happy and really proud of how far they've come in life, then you need to come to them and say, oh my gosh, it's amazing that you're on cloud 8. Did you know that there's actually cloud 9? Let me show you how to get there. And so when you understand their current emotional state and the ideal emotional state that they want to be in, you can meet them where they're at, then show them how you can bridge the gap to get them to where they ideally would like to be. I also want to acknowledge that there can be two sides to each customer that we have. So when you are creating your buyer personas for your marketing and your brand strategies, I want you to realize that for each buyer persona, you have an empowered customer and you have an unconscious customer. So what I mean by this is that the empowered customer already knows that they have an issue. They are aware of it. They probably have the solution for it, and they just need you to come along and show them that you exist. The unconscious customer, they may not be aware that they have an issue, or they're not actively looking for a solution, but once they come across your product or service, they know that it's exactly what they need. So when you are creating your messaging, it's important that you understand how to speak to both sides of that customer. You have to remember that marketing is more synonymous with communication. It is somehow become more closely aligned to sales, but marketing is going to be what gets you to the sell. So if your customer feels that you speak their language literally, if you speak their language and you understand their issues and your understanding of where they are at in life, they're going to feel very comfortable in buying from you. I do have some questions here on this topic that I'll go ahead and answer for you guys. Of course, if you have any more questions, leave them down in the comment box below and I'll be happy to answer them. The first question is, why is it important to validate the identity of the customer? When you validate the identity of the customer, you are basically feeding into their basic human need for belonging and identity. And so when your brand reflects someone that they already believe themselves to be, then they're going to engage with your brand because they just see it as an extension of themselves. If you have ever seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we'll see if I'm fancy enough to insert it over here. Let's see if I did it. If you feed into that, you are basically showing them that they have a safe space and they belong. The next question that I have is, how does storytelling influence purchasing decisions? So humans have actually evolved to remember stories more than facts. In fact, humans remember stories 22 times more than facts just because it's stored in like an older part of our brain. And so how you can use this is that when you are telling the stories where your customer is the hero and you are connecting with them on an emotional level, what you create is an irrational emotional connection. And I can do a whole separate video on this. And when you create that connection, what you then have is someone who has created their own memory of your brand, of your product, of your service, and has documented it in the old part of their brain. And so now they will use that either immediately or in the future. If you liked today's video, please like and subscribe for more content and advice like this. And if you need help implementing the strategy, do go to the link in the bio and reach out to me directly. And I'll see you guys next time.